Gregory Charles, showman to the core. Canadian superstar Gregory Charles is a multi-faceted entertainer as well as pianist, singer, songwriter and composer, television and radio host, comedian, artistic director, teacher, choirmaster, producer, philanthropist, and successful entrepreneur.
Hello, Gregory.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
I have a little challenge for you today.
What is it?
I can say that I can play piano better than you.
Please, please do.
Just joking, because right now a lot of people, they don't understand the true perfection, the art of perfection of playing piano and the practice itself. And recently I and my friends attended the Vintage Live show, and we were amazed what we saw. I can say it right now.
Well, thank you very much.
And from the very beginning, I saw the spark in your eyes, how you love what you do, how you perform everything, how you do. And from that point, I thought, I have to take interview from this person.
My wish for everyone on the planet, no matter how old or young they might be, my wish is that people do what truly makes them happy. And there is, in our show, Vintage Live, in our band, there is a tremendous amount of talent and skill. But the most important thing is not the talent or the skill. The most important thing is the true passion. In this case, it's a passion for music. Yes. It's also a passion for entertaining. But I think having worked with kids a lot since for the past 25, 30 years, the most important thing is being passionate about what it is you love and what it is you do. And by the way, the word passion is very, very often used, but passion is also suffering. Part of it is suffering. And so the part on stage is the fun part. But before you get to the stage, there's the part where you need to practice and rehearse and learn an instrument and learn music and listen and be disciplined and be rigorous. But all of that comes together and is a product of passion.
So you agree that in order to be successful in business, you have to be passionate about what you do?
To be successful at anything, you have to be passionate about what you do. But I think the business side of it has an additional element. Because you could be passionate about running,
yes,
or playing the violin and not be a professional. You could be passionate about playing the violin, start when you're 75, and play with passion and not turn it into a business. The business element has a second thing. You need to be passionate about whatever your business is about, but you also need to be passionate about the clients. So the commercial aspect, the corporate aspect, has an additional challenge. The challenge of truly caring for whoever your clientele is, whoever your clients are.
In our company, in Einstein Academy of Innovative Learning, we always tell our students to listen their inner voice when it comes to choosing a career. And do you agree that we have to listen not what inspires others when it comes to choosing a career, but choose our own thoughts, our own passion, our own inspirations toward what we do?
Actually, what I think is, I think our thought process when we choose a career path should resemble our thought process when we play as children in a park, on a field, in a house. I have a 3-year-old. I can see when she starts climbing up something that she's analyzing what the possibility is of her jumping and not hurting herself, or climbing and not hurting herself. There's an analysis of possibility. I actually call that the art of possibility. And so I believe what you call the inner voice is actually the inner instinct to analyze what is possible.
Yes.
So in that sense, I think the choice one must make is not what other people believe is possible, but what you believe is possible. Well, by the way, you could be wrong. I mean, you can make the wrong choice. You can make a mistake. But the question is, who's going to be the boss of you? Others, or are you going to be the boss of yourself? And so I don't know if it's an inner voice that is specifically made for career choices. I think it's the same instinct that we have where we analyze possibilities, and that's what we do our entire life. I mean, I don't want to trivialize this, but as a youth, as a young man or a young woman, when you meet a girl or a boy,
Yes.
you do the same thing. You actually analyze the possibility that it might work. There's a true analysis of is this person in my league? Could it work? And so others around will say, no, she's not for you, or you shouldn't. But if your conclusion, your analysis brings you to think that no, I think this can work. So I don't want to trivialize it, but it's the same thing. Every thought process needs to be the result of analysis of possibility, not analysis of how much money or analysis of how easy it will be, just analysis of what is possible. And a lot of people have said the same thing. If other people believe in what your dream is, you're probably not dreaming big enough. You need to dream so big that most people around will say, "You're crazy, man." And there is the wonderful thing about that thought process is once you start applying it, you apply it to everything, and you become adventurous about everything. But even and you multiply the ways you can become happy because you apply the same thought process to everything. You apply the same thought process to food or to traveling. Instead of going to the safe place, you say, "Hey, I've never been to this place. Let's try that." As an entrepreneur, you'll apply the same thought process, thinking, "Okay, this has been done. How about if we try to do this way?" Because it's never been done, but the possibility is there. Which is the same thought process, I think, behind any captain of a ship. My parents kept telling me when I was a kid that if the primary goal of a ship's captain was preservation of the ship, that ship would never leave. It would never go out to sea. But because the point when you are a ship's captain is to get that ship to go somewhere,
Exactly.
then you'll risk it. You risk a lot because you want to go somewhere. Staying put is no risk at all, besides the fact that you're staying put.
Did you have time in your life when you wanted to give up?
I don't think I've ever had prolonged moments where I want to give up. There are, though, very frequent moments when you think it's not going to work. And those are two different things. Because in order to choose something, to do something, to depart on an adventure, you need to first want to do it, and second, think it's going to work. The minute you don't want to do it anymore, that's it. You're done. It's over. But you might still want to do it and have moments when you think, I don't think this is going to work out. And actually, it might not work out. So those moments are more frequent than one thinks. There are a gazillion reasons of being disappointed at oneself or at one's project. And in that respect, my parents told me something else that was really, really interesting when I was a kid. They kept saying, dream big, expect little. Which means that your objective in life might be extremely bold, but your daily expectations or weekly expectations or monthly expectations shouldn't be so bold. They should be conservative, because things don't happen immediately. And sometimes, especially when you have tremendous success, youth, kids, happens very often. We live in a society where there's so much, so many gifts and so many short-term advantages to doing something. This is the era of games. And in a game there are like 25 levels, and the minute you succeed at one level, there's a big celebration. and I'm okay with celebrating, because I think you need to celebrate life. But at the same time, when you celebrate so often and so easily, you forget that
There is a lot of hard work there.
results are usually few and far between. And for 100 pieces of work, you get 2 or 3 pieces of great results. And depending on what you do in life, I mean, people who sell shoes know this. They know that they might have to meet 50 clients to sell one pair of shoes. And people who paint, I have no talent in visual arts. But people who paint, for every masterpiece, there are like, I don't know, 100 very regular pieces of art. So patience is necessary, and patience. That sentence from my parents is truly the right one. Dream big, expect little. Low expectations. And most people in our age will say the contrary. They'll say, I have high expectations. I don't have high expectations. I have high ambitions. But I have moderate expectations. Long-term expectations, they will come. If you work, they will come. But if you start with super high expectations tomorrow, you will be disappointed.
We, in our company, like to think about how people think. And what is interesting, for example, a lot of people, in my opinion, by looking at you and your success, they think that everything came in one moment. But nobody see a lot of hard work behind that success. So what you can recommend to our viewers to start doing in life to get at least one step closer to their goals?
Actually, I love that question, and every step you take is one step closer to your goal. So the only way you do not get to your goal is by not taking any steps. If you stand still, you're not going anywhere. In hockey terms, I come from Canada. Just like in Russia, we love hockey.
Yes.
And one of our great players, Wayne Gretzky, said to people who would listen, he'd say, I failed on every shot I did not take. Because any shot you do not take, you won't score. But any shot you do take, there's a risk that you may score. So taking steps, every step you take, even steps that might feel as though you're going backwards, are steps that lead you to your goal. The only way you don't get to your goal is by not taking any steps at all, not moving, quitting, changing ideas, abandoning. Because otherwise, every other step is going in the right direction. Although it might go this way, until you finally make it to the end. Now, the other thing is, and again, I think we need to go back to our childhood. It takes us a year to learn how to walk.
Yes.
A year. That's 365 days. And in some cases, it's a little bit less. And in some cases, it's even more. But it's a year of walking while you have no other preoccupations. You're not paying taxes. You don't have an apartment. You don't have a wife or a husband or a spouse. You don't have kids. You don't have cars. You don't have payments. The only thing you can concentrate on is eating, sleeping, and learning how to walk. It still takes a year, a full year. So I don't get how, as adults, we feel like whatever our project is, it should happen like tomorrow. Walking takes a year. Most of our projects are way more complex than walking. They involve an idea, a process, a business plan, capital, finding a clientele, getting through the clientele, marketing. It involves all of that. Most of our projects involve all of those things. So why in the world would we think it'll be easier than learning how to walk? And in the end, walking is not that complicated. I mean, learning how to talk is even more complicated. Learning how to write. So I do believe there's a need for real, prolonged patience. And then there's also a need for muscle training. Whatever the project is, it's like a muscle. It needs to be trained. There is no vacation for a muscle. There is no off time. Kids very regularly think of their lives as school year and then the off time. But if you're passionate about something, there is no off time. I mean, it's not like, oh yeah, I'm so passionate about something, I do it from September till June, and then I'm off. Well, no, it doesn't work that way. Any athlete, I'm not an athlete, but any athlete will tell you that if you train hard for 9 months and stop for 3 months, it's like you didn't train at all. So whatever your project is, whatever your idea is, it needs to be continuous, it needs to be rigorous, it needs to be disciplined, it needs to be based in patience and in high ambitions. Now the other thing is, learning is a way of life. Learning, evolving, perfecting something is a way of life. And I believe those who succeed most frequently are people who apply the same process to everything. If you pick and choose and you start saying, well, this I love, so I'm going to be very rigorous about this, and everything else I'm going to be really sloppy about, there's a fairly good chance that you'll fail. Because it's a way of life, it's a process. And the same way telling yourself the truth is a process. So if you tell yourself the truth about one thing and everything else you lie to yourself about, there's a fairly good chance that that one thing that you tell yourself the truth about is going to dissipate. Mm-hmm. It needs to be, I think the correct word is pervasive. It needs to be universal. Whatever your choice of life is, you need to apply it to all of your life.
I think another great mistake that people do in terms of choosing the career, in terms of the planning their goals, that they always compare themselves with others. So
yes,
people,
life is not about comparing yourself to others.
Of course, you have to compare yourself with you in the past, and you have to be better than you are right now.
In a way, I agree with you, but I do think that the point of life of any project is not to go further than others are going. It's to go further than anyone else has gone ever before. I don't think the race is with... We're not competing against our neighbors. We're not competing against our contemporaries. We're competing against the entire human race. That's the way I see things. So my ambitions are about me. They're about what I believe I can do, but they are also about what I think humankind can accomplish. And in that sense, I'm just an entertainer. But in that sense, I believe great scientists are a very, very good example of that. Scientists who do pure research allow us to bring not just their field, but all of humanity a little bit further than it was in its understanding of life. That's why scientific work is extremely important. Whatever the science is, it's extremely important because scientists are not competing against each other. They're competing in the name of humankind, trying to go further. So I know it seems very facetious to say something like that. I'm just a musician. I don't save lives. We just have people who come to see our show, have a good time, go home, they're happy. So it's I guess it's not crucial in the history of the world. I mean, we could disappear and the world would go on spinning. But I do believe that part of what is our ambition and what drives us is the fact that we're not competing with other artists, but we do know that what we do has not been done before. And if it can be done, that means that others can do it as well. Yes. And it also means that others, at some point, can do better, can go even further than what we're doing. And because of that, we're proud, first of all, of what we do. But because of that, we also work hard because we want to be at the forefront. So any 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 12-year-old today who knows everything there is to know about dinosaurs, doesn't matter if they become paleontologists or not. Doesn't matter. But the fact that, it may just be that a kid has watched Jurassic Park 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know how many movies there were, and might become an accountant. Mm-hmm. But if you apply the same rigor and discipline to learning about dinosaurs than you do about accounting, yes, then your entire life will be really, really cool. Because you'll have so much knowledge, and and so many skills, and all of that will procure happiness. And that's why I do believe that we need to this discipline and this rigor needs to be applied to everything we do. Now, there's one more thing I want to say about this. I was a concert pianist as a kid. Played a lot of classical music, and I did a lot of competitions. I participated in a lot of competitions. I won most of the competitions I was part of, but there are some I did not win, and I was never disappointed. My mom always had a great line for me. She always said, "One great musician doesn't take anything away from another great musician." And the same could be said about athletes. I see young kids, for example, who play in a hockey game or in a baseball game and lose, and it's like the end of their lives. It's not the end of your life. You can dislike losing. That's totally fine, because it makes winning even sweeter. But one great person doesn't mean that the one in front is not great. And that's why my analysis of this is, I'm competing with myself, and I'm competing with humankind, not you or some other person. Humankind. Can we bring humankind one step further?
Thank you, Gregory, for your time. I hope we will meet you again in some future, and
Thank you.
We'll share your experience again with our audience. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. 1, 2, 3.
Might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sometimes she's here, you can take a break. Hot air balloon, could go to space. With the air, I don't care, baby, by the way. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like a happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what a happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Singing na 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 na. Na 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 na. You got to know how to pony, like Pony Maroney, the mashed potato, and the alligator. Put your hand on your hips and let your backbone slip.